Okay guys, on today's episode, we're going to be going over some flexibility. Not only the flexibility, but the stretches and some of the benefit from stretches, from active, passive, and doing some dynamic exercise that we can do to help us as anybody who are looking to have any success in the athletic background, or just trying to help with everyday movements. If we have any pain, tightness, dysfunctions, here are some benefits that we can help, and hopefully it can take a little pain from your day. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we're here at Frio Cryotherapy in Tequesta, meeting with Kricket today. Kricket, thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
And we're going to be talking about a couple different stretching methods we can do for individuals who have any pain, they're looking for recovery, sciatica pain, piriformis, a couple dysfunctions. So Kricket, what are some of your methods you do, your profession, and how can this help us and benefit us for, us being successful in our athletic backgrounds, or just being in an everyday situation of living without pain?
Right, exactly. Just everyday life. It can be that or athletes. So I'm a licensed massage therapist, and I do stretch therapy. The method that I use is active isolated stretching. So unlike a passive stretch, this is actually active. You're participating in it. It's more similar to a workout, less intense, but you're going to be doing sets in reps. So we're focusing on specific muscles. We're taking a specific pattern so that we just don't dive into the hamstrings, because everything else around that still needs to be worked on before we get in. So we want to make sure that we're going, step by step, so that we're really going to benefit your whole body and the whole functionality of your body.
Oh, perfect. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the issues that I have, one main one is my right glute. More so it feels like a piriformis, or just that pain, especially after sitting for long periods of time. I usually feel it when I'm driving in the car, or if I'm just sitting on my couch at home. It just feels like, a sharp pain here. And then sometimes I may get something that runs down, maybe like sciatica.
Right.
So what is something that I can do that can kind of help or benefit from, relieving that type of
All right, and that's
pain?
something that I hear so often. A lot of people have the low back pain or sciatica. Everything's happening here in the hips. So there's so many things that we can do here. We always start with hip flexors and the psoas. Psoas gets a lot of attention now. It's a really hard area to kind of get to, but doing these stretches, we really isolate it, and it may take more sets to loosen up somebody's psoas. So we start with this. This is the most important stretch that we'll do, and we go through, and then eventually we do get to glutes. But first we do hip flexors, we move then into quads, we move back into groin, and then going step by step, we really get all these muscles that are all here surrounding the hip joint. So we reduce that pain, increase flexibility, and get you, functioning much better.
Oh, okay, perfect. So now, what's our setup here?
Okay, so what you're gonna do here, I'm gonna have you lie down across the table like this. We're gonna be working, we'll start working this left side.
Okay.
So come on over this way. And so I was saying that this is active. So I need your leg up here. We're going to take this exercising leg here. And unlike, passive stretching, Donald, you're actually going to do the stretch. So you're going to be using glutes right here, while psoas is going to be relaxing inside, because your brain is sending that message. So you're going to do a nice inhale, and then exhale with action. 1,000, 2, 1,000. You go as far as you can, and then I extend that stretch only for 2 seconds.
Now, why do you only want to extend it for only 2 seconds?
What we found is that after 2 seconds, that's when that stretch reflex kicks in, and that's actually putting that muscle you're trying to stretch into a state of contracting and trying to protect itself. So if we do it for less than 2 seconds, we're able to do a very gradual change without doing damage to the muscle.
Oh, okay.
You're always going to exhale with action, inhale on release, and now we'll move 10 degrees this way, isolating iliacus, and exhale. And you can feel how that's in a different spot now, right?
Yeah, it's in a different location.
Yep. So usually we can start with a set of 5 reps. If one side is tighter, we may do 3 or 4 sets. especially with psoas. And if you've never done any kind of stretching like this before, then it's great to really get all these muscles loosened up.
Yeah.
And then on other visits, we can go through them more quickly and get to other areas. So
okay.
first session starting off, we always want to really work thoroughly through, you know, these muscle groups.
Oh, perfect. Now, is active stretching something someone should do every day, or is it, a number a week that people should try these?
You can do stretching at home every day. That's going to be so beneficial to you. I would love to see people come in here. I'll get them through, a full body stretch in probably 2 sessions, and then you should be stretching all the time, and you don't have to come and see me. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, ideally, you could come in for 2 sessions. We could get through upper body, lower body, and then show you stretches to do at home so that you can really, get the most out of it.
Okay. Now, what if we're lazy people and we just don't want to stretch, like me? Is that?
Then you're making my job much harder over here.
Is it best? Which I've always read. Is it best to do active stretching after the shower, or getting a little warm up? Whether you have a home bike at a bike at home that you can kind of ride for a few minutes just to get the muscles warmed up.
This is warming up the muscles, so there's no need to actually warm up before stretching. Other methods of stretching you should be warming up before, but this one we're doing it very gradually. We're just going a few degrees at a time. So this can be the workout. This can be before a workout, and this can be after a workout, but no need to warm up before this session.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the other nice thing about active isolated stretching is that we pretty much have a couple of options to stretch the same muscles. So that first one that we did where you were, face down with your stomach on the table, sometimes that's not comfortable at all for people, but we have to get these muscles stretched. We have to get to the psoas. So this is one that's actually really good for people that have trouble lying on their stomachs and pregnant women. This is a huge one to keep the hip flexors and everything strong and flexible during pregnancy when so many changes are going on too. So this one, you're side lying. I'm going to have you bring this non-exercising leg knee up here. I want you to hold on to that. I'm going to try and keep your hips stacked. And you're going to see we're going to do the same motion, but it's just in another position. And I want you to lay your head down. We're doing the same thing. So you're going to kick your leg back. 1,000, 2, 1,000, and back this way. So we're getting it's the same motion, just in a different position that's way more comfortable for some people.
Now, for individuals who's having pain while they're at work, just sitting down, what are some of the recommendations you would give them as far as, should they do some type of movement at their desk, or should they walk around a little bit, or would you say, stretching should be the thing to go to as you're just at work, even though it may look a little awkward with the stretching?
Yeah, I'm always going to advocate for some stretching. I also love those chairs that have the exercise ball in them, so that you can actually get some good, hip, pelvis kind of space in there, and not just be sitting in a hard chair. So, how comfortable you can make yourself that's actually going to be more functional and more beneficial to you is a good thing to do. And then to take care of yourself more outside of the work hours by doing some more stretching. This one too, we're also going to drop the knee down 10 degrees.
Now, for people who don't know or not sure if they have sciatica pain, what are some of the symptoms that they could possibly be going through that can, you can give them a heads up as to, hey, look, if you have this type of issues, this is probably what it's going to be, without, self-diagnosing them?
Right. I usually leave it to them to tell me what the doctors have said, if they've diagnosed something specific. Let's keep this leg bent like this. But for the most part, anybody with any kind of low back pain, any kind of hamstring pain, any kind of, radiating leg pain, that sounds like sciatica. And all these things, all these stretches that we do help free up the hip. So it's all going to be beneficial. Bottom leg up towards your chest. And keep this bent at a 95. Nice inhale, and then exhale using your glutes. And I can feel where your leg comes back to a stop, and then that's when I'm bringing it back, just a little bit more. Shouldn't be painful. Should just be right to the point where you're like, okay, yeah, and then I let go.
Yeah, no, you feel the stretch, but it's not nothing that's, extremely painful or if it's too much.
And we just gain a few degrees at a time where you can already see that this is opened up.
Now, what's your take on using foam rollers or like lacrosse balls, like what I use, which I do for just extreme pain, but I do it for a relief in the muscle group?
Right, some relief, some release. People love the foam rollers and the balls, like you said. I feel like a lot of the stretching can alleviate the symptoms and the pain. I also do massage too. Sometimes people will come in with, I've got a lot of low back pain and looking for a massage, which I can do. I always suggest and see if they're open to stretching, because we can really go more into what the actual problem is and then make it feel good at the end with the massage.
Now, in your experience, do you see some of the more common dysfunctions in people and individuals as far as just lower back pain or hip issues?
It seems to me right now this is the season for hips.
Yeah.
It's hips, it's low back, it's hamstrings, it's all this area, which affects, the way you walk. You can see the way people walk with their feet turned in, with their feet turned out. A lot of those things can be corrected just by putting some focus on, these hip flexors, the lateral rotators, the internal rotators. Okay, now we're gonna do a stretch for the quad. So you're still gonna keep that bottom leg there. And instead of using the glutes, you're gonna now use hamstrings to bring your knee to your butt.
Gotcha.
So this is gonna be the quad stretch here. Right now we're getting the distal end of the quadriceps, which is down here by the knee. Now we're gonna keep it here. You're gonna take an inhale and you're gonna actually bring your thigh back with the exhale. And now we're getting this proximal end, which you can tell is a big difference.
Oh yeah, big difference.
And we're gonna drop it down, do the same thing. This is getting now vastus lateralis.
Now, would you say having tight quads can be one of the major issues too, as well, as far as lower back and
lower back, knees,
issues?
yeah, everything. So we work to loosen the hamstrings, loosen the quads, get your flexors moving the right way, and get everything back functioning the way that you're going to feel best. Okay, and this one we're going to stay here and then come back. So we're really targeting each individual muscle. We target the proximal end, the distal end. So we've done hip flexors, psoas, iliacus, sartorius. We moved on to the quads, and now we're going to move into the groin, which the groin is not just one muscle. It's the adductor group, so there's 5 muscles in there, and we're really targeting different ones with the way that we're doing these stretches. So this first one, what I'm going to have you do is bring your legs out like this. This leg is going to be this way, and you want to turn it like that. This is going to be our exercising leg, and what I'm going to have you do, I want you to stabilize your hips here. Sometimes I do use a seat belt to keep you down or to keep this leg down. All you're going to do here is abduct your leg horizontally, so you're bringing that out to the side. So come towards me, just flat on the table, but out as far as you can, and then and back.
Yeah, you feel that immediately.
It's gradual. It's not, bringing your leg too far for too long. You're going as far as you can. I bring it. Now what you're going to do, just scoot over to the side of the table a little bit more. You're going to do the same thing. This leg's going to stay like this. This one's going to come out, but you're going to drop it and bring it down like this. So now you're feeling this in other fibers.
Yes. Now, would you say the groin or the adductor complex is one of the more common tight muscle groups that we have in the lower body?
It's going to depend on what you're doing. You know, athletes with a lot of lateral movement and everything, this is an area that has to have flexibility. But yeah, even for somebody sitting at a desk, just having these muscles tight and contracted all the time, and you're not using them, you know, like this can really get things feeling better. All right, and now this last one, I'll have you slide back over to the center of the table. This one, you're actually going to bring your leg up vertically, and then we're going to take it out to the side here.
Okay.
So you're going to feel this in a whole different way. 1,000, 2,000. You're going to inhale and exhale with action.
I almost feel that in the hamstrings too as well.
And you see how we start specifically with ones, because going cold into this, you know, you kind of need to get up loosened.
So now this also plays a part in, you know, that synergistic dominance. You know, there's those small muscle groups or those secondary muscle groups taking over the prime movers, you know, those big muscle groups, as far as just tightness or under usage, which I think a lot of the problems are, especially with somebody like me. I'm strong in the glute area, but my hamstrings are very weak,
Right.
which is will cause some kind of issues later on down the road.
Right, so flexibility and stretching is key, but also a lot of times I'm going to recommend exactly that, strengthening the muscles that are on the weaker side.
Now, what made you get into this type of method? Because I know you're a licensed massage therapist. So, what made you kind of have that transition to, I want to add this to, basically what I do with your passion?
Yeah, the muscles, the movements, the actions, it's all just fascinating to me. I did a lot of birth work, so I worked with a lot of babies just being born, and to me it was fascinating to see how, here you've got this baby balled up, know, and then from that time, we just get so far and far away from that optimal flexibility. So to help people get back to, at least being able to be comfortable, be pain-free. You don't have to get back to, to being able to curl up like that.
I definitely can't curl up like a baby anymore.
But, it's athletes and infants that have the most flexibility. And
Well, yeah, then too, we're always beat into flexibility, stretch. So, you kind of get accustomed to stretching on a daily basis, even with practice in the weight room,
right,
or if you're just home. And then too, we always had some kind of nicks and bruises somewhere, or some kind of tightness somewhere, and we're able to pick it out or just get, we know if we have a tight hamstring or a tight hip, we kind of knew what stretches to do because we're around, a lot of professionals, guys who've had previous injuries in that same position or previous tightness, so they can help us with it. So I'm accustomed to stretching all the time. It's just understanding what's the right way of stretching.
Right, and the order to go in is gonna make. Okay,
Kricket. So with the muscular system, we're looking at a chart here. What are some of the muscle groups that we hit today, and that potentially that can help anybody else as far as the benefits for them, relieving some pain, and what to target?
So basically, we started with the hip flexors. We started with psoas. So all this area in here, everything that's connecting the trunk to the lower body, and then moved into the quadriceps right here, and then moved into the groin area right here. So then continuing on stretching, we would then move into more of the glutes, more of the internal rotators, and more of the lateral rotators, which over here is usually a huge problem for people. And we talked earlier about sciatica, a lot of low back pain, hip pain, radiating down the leg. It's all these muscles in here. Piriformis is one of them that's always, kind of one that's really hard to get to. So we have a specific stretch. We've got lateral rotator stretches, but there's one specific one that's going to get that piriformis from the sacral attachment to the femoral attachment over here. So we're really going to get this whole range of muscle right there to loosen things up. Sometimes that sciatic nerve is just kind of jammed in there. Mm-hmm. So all we can do to, lessen some pain and tension in there and then get you back, functioning better.
Mm-hmm. Now, where does that sciatic nerve lie as far as where people can understand, the muscle groups that's around it too as well?
Absolutely. I've got a poster over here. So this is where we're looking at, just what we were saying on the muscular system here. This is going to include some nerves. So the sciatic nerve, this is where it's going to run to. So you can see with all the stretches that we did today, and it was only the 3 muscle groups so far to start. It's these hip flexors, it's the quads, it's the groin, which are all attached and all moving all up in here. So you can see just from doing those stretches that we're really targeting this area here to bring relief to anything that's going on there and get that hip flexibility, starting to relieve that low back pain too. It's just such an important area right here to work through.
Okay. All right, Kricket, I want to say thank you for taking the time just to show us some of the stretches and the different methods we can do at home. Please, can you tell the audience, how can we reach out to you? How can we find you if they want to book a session or get and understand more knowledge about their body?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be here at Frio Cryotherapy in Tequesta. We do an initial visit to kind of go through everything, go through injuries, expectations is huge. You just may want to feel a little bit better, have some pain relief, or you really need to be functioning, high performance. So we go through all that. We do an intro, kind of like we did today. The whole lower body session is going to be way more detailed, way more in depth. We're going to really target all these muscles. So you're really going to feel very realigned. Your hips feel better. We move to upper body too. So we're going to get everything. But yeah, absolutely. I'm here at Frio, so you can book appointments to come in and do some active isolated stretching and see how you can really get back to feeling great.
Now, is there an Instagram or Facebook we can reach you?
Absolutely. Frio Tequesta, and you can book online, you can call, and happy to see people in here for active isolated stretching. Can't wait.
Perfect. Get stretching.